Hello and welcome back to the LCS. I am Julian Pastry-Tamka, and I'm very happy to announce that Kobe has decided to join me for yet another game. Kobe, thank you so much for tagging in.
Yep, Azale working on some computer problems, so I will remain.
Well, certainly happy to have you here. IMT versus FlyQuest is going to be our game, and first and foremost, we have to look at the frankly bizarre roster Immortals has brought out for the start of summer.
Yeah, I mean, people have talked about this a lot already. Benching Xmithy, benching Hakuho, lots of these players that were considered some of the best parts of the team. They still have some veteran leadership in there with Soaz, but it's definitely shaken a lot of people's confidence with this much change in the roster and taking out some of these names that people know they can rely on. It kind of does seem like a symptom of a problem where IMT are unsure of what direction they really want to go in, and unsure of what successes they can actually try and build on now with so many moving parts.
Yep, and of course the question's going to be, can they match up to the spring finalists who've solidified Solo now as their starting top laner?
Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest, they did open up with a loss, but they were rematching the finals versus Cloud9. And there were some good moves from FlyQuest. Specifically, I did like PoE playing pretty proactively with a lot of his teleports, with a lot of his plays in the skirmishes. Top side, though, obviously looking at Solo. When they added him to the team in spring, that was one of the biggest additions that they made in the middle of the split. Really did add an extra level. And it's one of the biggest things that their opponents would talk about, how, when they sub in Solo, it actually changed how we have to play against them because there is, more pressure on the top side of the map.
Yep, it was interesting to talk to Blabber yesterday, though. He did say that, at least for them, because they have played them against them so often, that they can be a bit predictable. So we'll see if there is a game plan here for IMT with so many different pieces in. Because you have to think, if nothing else, Kobe, they are going to have perhaps some surprises bringing in so many different players.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that I talked to, talking about bringing in Pop Luck and bringing in these new players, have been a bit worried. So the surprises are going to be there. Sometimes surprises can be good, sometimes not so good. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Potluck for all of Academy last spring. Certainly a decent player. When he gets ahead, like a lot of junglers, feels like he can snowball the game. His aggressive Rek'Sai was probably the hallmark of his play there, but the jungle is very different this time around, Kobe. So we'll have to see what IMT can bring to bear with this lineup and see if FlyQuest on the other end can pick up their first win of the summer on Aphelios and Varus, plus Syndra, with no real surprises there, the first full bans of this game.
All right, I do expect some focus on the mid lane from Immortals because Aka versus Power of Evil seems like a bit of a mismatch. Power of Evil, though, gets to almost always have counter pick because FlyQuest, if they're on red side, will save their last pick for him in the mid lane. So starting it out, just taking out some of these super strong champions right now. Bending away the Varus, the Yuumi, the Aphelios, really taking away some of the bottom lane options.
Yeah, bottom lane kind of has been gutted here in these bans, but jungle has not. In fact, all junglers left open here, so Graves will be the first pick overall here for IMT.
Give me an Ezreal!
And there is the set, and there's the Ezreal.
Yeah, big surprise! I kind of just get to go down my list, I check off the Aphelios, the Varus, the Kalista, then we're missing something here, and Wild Turtle does get to pilot the Ezreal. It's one of the safest AD carries right now. You get to build a Death Stance on it as well, provides poke damage to your team, you can fend for himself, can allow Ignar to go on a roaming support and roam around. So I think it really does fit in well for the team identity as well as for him individually. That is a Kai'Sa lock-in. I would like to preview the Kai'Sa Hail of Blades, because that's what I'm hoping that Altec goes with, and it's been an adaptation that some of the Kai'Sa players have made with the buffs to the attack damage for Kai'Sa, as well as the buffs to Hail of Blades, when you don't actually have to go out of combat to reset the Hail of Blades, so it's a bit better on champions that do have to stay in combat. But really, she gets really quick stacks of her passives off now with this new kind of technology that people have started adapting on her, and makes her a bit better in lane at punishing stuff.
Yeah, certainly like it. Something a bit different. Of course, what's not different is the pairing. It will be Nautilus there for Gate, something we've seen alongside Callista for a very, from Kaiser, excuse me, for a very long time. Rakan, though, is the lock-in here for Ignar. We did see him on an Enchanter yesterday with Karma, which, despite being a powerful champion, is not what we know Ignar for. More engaged here on his Rakan. Certainly more the wheelhouse we're expecting.
Yeah, this is much more of a champion you associate with Ignar. Hard engage and very quick playmaking ability. One of the biggest synergies that they brought over, Power Revel and Ignar, even from their time playing on Misfits. Power Revel chunking someone down and then Ignar instantly engaging on them. Rakan was a feared champion for FlyQuest in Spring Split. Everybody was trying to ban it away from Ignar, trying to deny him, and he very quickly locks it in there, even though they're going into the Nautilus, which can sometimes be a little difficult, blocking him down and being very tanky with the Aftershock.
Still, FlyQuest want for their second ban here. They've already targeted Aatrox, so trying to give Solo a little bit more room in the 1v1. Wukong also going to get banned away, something that maybe would have been good for So as they're into the set, so not going to see it this game. And it was a Corki ban on the IMT side, so we'll see if they go for PoE again, or maybe just take out something like the Nidalee away from center.
Yeah, let's see, my screen's gone black here real quick. Maybe you can update on the next phases of bans, but the Wukong, super high priority in LPL, and we saw so many games looking to carry with the champions to take that one out. Again, Set was one of the most played for solo already. I think he does a good job of getting good flanks off for FlyQuest to try and get around the enemy team and bring those team fights home.
Yeah, also was Victor, the last ban there for IMT, with Kindred now being the pick. Certainly a champion Centauran is very well known for. They'll be happy to take it here, especially since Into the Graves. Yeah, it was the most fun matchup, but it can be fine.
It's a super interesting one because people go both ways. I actually do like the Kindred side of the matchup because Kindred does have a little bit more control than Graves does because of the extra CC. When you apply the extra little bit of slow, you get to choose a bit more. Graves is very powerful and can just bully through though, so it definitely gets risky if the Graves gets a lead. And Graves can also power farm very quickly and try and use some winning lanes to come harass you. But I do like the Kindred options in it with the extra little bit of mobility.
Alright, and last picks here are Karma, which is something we have seen a lot of, and Galio, actually, the last pick here, presumably for Acre in mid. Something we've seen every now and then, certainly good in any sort of 5v5 comp. So Immortals kind of drafting some pretty good team fights themselves here, with the final pick on the way. It is going to be Cassio for Power of Evil.
And something that speaks a lot to Immortals' conviction here is that they're drafting extra support here for Potluck. They're looking at Potluck. All right, you're in for Xmithy. Put on the bootstraps, like go to town here because you are going to be one of the main carries for this team. They've got a solo lane Karma who's going to be buffing him up. So Potluck should be running the new and improved Phase Rush Graves for the extra speed, and looking to be one of the big threats for Immortals, not just an, we brought him up from Academy because something went wrong with Xmithy and team had a fallout. No, they're actually putting their game plan behind it.
Yeah, I mean, both of the newer players, both Outtake and Potluck, will be enabled here in this game. So a very curious draft on the Immortals side, but kind of excited to see how it goes out. For FlyQuest, I would say predictable, but that is one of the one of the things we've come to expect from FlyQuest. But they're also very consistent, which is why they're such a good team. So we'll see how Immortals can fare here, but plenty of questions with Potluck being in the roster, and for how long it lasts, we'll never know, but at least we're going to get it for this game here. And the Graves, certainly a pick we don't get to see too often these days, so I'm excited to see how he can play it here.
Yeah, honestly, for Immortals, I mean, everyone's going to be favoring FlyQuest in this because FlyQuest coming in from the finals from last split, even though they had a loss to Cloud9, still looking decently strong for the early stages in it. And IMT with such controversial roster changes, I feel like they have so much to prove here, and there could be a big upside if they surprise people, if they start taking over. This is what you like to see for newer players. Your chance at stardom, your chance at making a big splash as soon as you get into the LCS.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll see how the gameplay shakes out. So it's with a bit of early poke onto Solo with the empowered Q. The players otherwise are just spreading out across the rift. No fancy level 1, at least this time around.
Yep, Solo is going to be looking to keep Solo at range, farm up on the Karma. You build some supportive items so that you can then join the rest of your team when you look for your big wombo. And of course, it's kind of telegraphed, but I always, like pointing out the Nautilus plus Galio, easy, hard engage synergy there. And Kaisa is one of the best carries at following up on that type of stuff. So while Immortals are putting some faith in some of the new players, their composition is pretty straightforward to execute here. And it's going to be about, can they bring it together in the LCS when the pressure is on?
Yep, certainly have to see. Is Centaurn going to go ahead and start the red buff here with a little bit of help from Solo. It is the same side for Potluck here, so they'll be jungling poke towards the bottom side of the map. Also curious to see how Galio does here. Of course, PoE did get to counter pick it, and he's very good on these high DPS, more control mages. Cassio certainly fitting in that style. But, the Galio build these days is very AP heavy, which we've kind of come to expect since the last round of changes a little while ago. But, if Galio gets big enough, doesn't really matter who you're charging in. As long as Galio is getting into the backline and getting a good taunt off, he can wreak havoc in the backline in any sort of engage.
Yeah, and I kind of like some of the new things people are trying to do with all the different sources of speed. Since you can't do the taunt flashes, you can try and use Nimbus Cloak for Summoner Spell extra speed, and he's got Summoner Spell Book, so he's going to be cycling through those. You can pick up Ghosts with your Summoner Spellbook and those types of things to get other ways that aren't the classic channeling taunt and flashing in for snap engages, but just kind of run it up fast. Looking for it that way.
Just get involved. That's kind of all Galio needs to do is bottom lane here. Altec and Gate, also the new additions-ish to IMT. We'll see how they do against the Ezreal and Rakan. This is not the, the Yuumi Ezreal we've come to... I don't want to say enjoy, you'll come to experience around the world.
We've become very well acquainted with.
Yes. Perhaps too well acquainted.
Yeah, and it is going to be, Ezreal is sitting a little bit further back here. Like I mentioned in Champ Select, it's the Halo Blades Kaisa. And I have really enjoyed seeing this, the more aggressive look with your bursty first 3 auto attacks plus the buff that they gave to Kaisa for the AD means that she can have a lot more powerful trades early on than people were expecting. And since you still combo her with crowd control supports to be able to apply the plasma, you just Hail of Blades, instantly stack up plasma. You get these big bursty passive procs, especially if Gates can land some CC. He's looking for it.
If he is able to land it here, not going to be poking in just yet. Igna, though, at least getting his poke returning back and forth.
Gets shot twice. That push has denied me well. Can't get the dodges. Wild Turtle and Ignar getting the very small victories of skill shots landing in the flying push.
Yeah, and of course, both junglers just kind of completed their clears of the jungle. They've both got a crab. Now going to go back and spend some of that gold. The early red smites on either side. So no one really butting heads just yet, but plenty of time, of course, for that to happen here. Still early on into this one. Oh, actually, no. Ignar not quite able to get an angle there, but again, at least keeping the lane honest, right? Have to try and get some trades in. Don't just want Kaisa to cycle Hail Blades on you every single time it's back up.
Yeah, he lowered his head. He charged in ahead, but no one there to meet it, so no clash. Nice attempt, though. Centaurn going to hover around the mid lane after trading top and bottom scuttles here. Power of Evil with the early tier back here on Cassio. Going to feel so nice. Charging that one up, stacking it very quickly into this game. Still has full 3 health potions as well. So going according to plan.
Making it maybe too obvious, but Solos with a flash taunt in. The tethers Solo up, but the flash is out, and Solo should be okay with the W. Even gets the chuckle in at the end as well. So they get some cooldowns, but just flashes traded there in top lane.
Yep, and it's going to be a fast plus a teleport, I would assume, from Solos to get back up there. Meanwhile, the cost of that is very big for Immortals. They do get technically +1 summoner spell by forcing that teleport I mentioned, but Santorin's already hovering bottom side, instantly goes for the dragon. Their duo even with the reset there. Ignar heads up, so FlyQuest super happy with that opening trade.
Ooh, Aka, I think reading does just punch out of the way. But Ignar with a nice roam as Aka throws up the B.
Yep, no harm, no foul though. Nobody really spending any cooldowns.
But what about the same play again?
If at first...
Yeah, he's going in. He's going to try and make it happen. Oh, misses the W. Going to get himself taunted. It's 2 actually. His Potluck is charging in there. The exhaust is good from Ignar and Aka now getting the damage turned around. But here comes Gate. PoE wants to finish it off. Flash ultis in but can't get the damage done. Galio back in he goes but doesn't grab the knocker. But still a double near sight there from the smoke screen. Potluck maybe can clean house here. Gate is going to grab it. It's first blood over to the Kindred. But Gate does get Power of Evil on the back end. As now here comes Solo as Soaz is also roamed up. Going to get himself locked in by Set. There's the ulti. Aga to try and finish off the low health Galio. W doesn't quite connect, but the last punch is good. As Solo going to walk out of there, or maybe not. So he's going to keep chasing, gets the root. Potluck back in there. They've just made it work. Immortals able to grab a couple kills here, and maybe Ignar on the way out, but the blast cone does keep him safe.
Nice, exciting little scrap there. So it's not done. Can he get the snipe?
Got the sensors on. Ooh, no, already gone away. Ooh, he snuck out. Ignar. Very sneaky.
Little game of hide and seek. Yeah, it's you just wrap around the corner because the corners on the terrain's gonna block the fog of war, and since he's in bush, he sees the seeker coming and can just walk around the edge. But let's take a look how it all started, because everybody walking up, and then we have the teleport start the channel. This was Immortals with the initial plan of, hey, let's counter gank this, but then the flash is traded as Power of Evil threatened the kill onto Galio. Ulti back in there for Aka. They were unsure if they could finish off Power of Evil. The gate flashing forward. Santorin actually got the auto off first and got the first blood extra money cash in. So in the end, it's a 2 for 2 as Solo did commit the ultimate to killing off Aka, and then gets kind of trapped in there as Soaz with the solo lane Karma is able to lock him up for another kill for Potluck. So in the end, with the 2 for 2 trade, slightly more gold going to FlyQuest with the first kill being acquired by Santorin, but him stacking up a mark as well, pretty decent.
Yep, certainly some advantages there for FlyQuest, but fairly even. And so not even 10 minutes through this game and already 4 kills have appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Top lane attention is going to be put back on here by Potluck. Continuing to hang out with Soaz here. Solo, no flash, does have his ulti, but Santorin right behind him. He's going to make sure he's feeling protected. Potluck, though, does have his ultimate up now at level 6, so going to be quite a bit more potent in these gank/fights that could break out.
And there's a huge difference between fully completed warrior and just those little pieces you see on the side for Santorin. So even with the kill and the first blood extra bonus, you get a huge power spike on fully completing that jungle item, and Potluck immediately trying to use it with the phase rush trades up onto the top side. But we'll see if they're actually able to get anything out of the second Galio ultimate, with Aka actually having a roam opportunity opening up pretty quickly with that one. He has been able to set up the waves.
Yep. Potluck back down on his red. Going to go ahead and collect that again. With these kind of junglers, you do mostly want to focus on getting that farm, and both of these players have been just fine in making sure they stay active on the map while still cycling through their camps. Santorin also level 6, so has his ultimate to bring to bear, but Potluck still keeping up in XP, so certainly knows his way around the graves, but not really amounting to too much just yet. 45 seconds till that next Drake is up. See if FlyQuest can continue that snowball.
And honestly, I think it should be a high priority for Immortals to continue to attack Power of Evil. Aka's going to have to run his way out.
Good knock-up there again. Nicely started there by PoE. Aka is going to go down to the Cassio. And now the stun in the front side of the ulti is out from PoE. That's going to be a second kill over as the double kill is snagged.
Yeah, FlyQuest's not going to let him have an opening on Power of Evil. They recognize the movement here, and it's going to be a Rift Herald afterwards as Ignar spotting Potluck here. He's just marking the champion, so keeping vision of him, allowing Santorin the confidence to finish that off, because they know they've got nothing left towards the mid lane as Aka's still respawning. He teleports out now with 2.5k or so health left on it.
Zooming in there, though, gets the taunt onto Power of Evil, who's got no flash. He's going to have to run away, give the last few punches. will trigger, and that's the shutdown there for the Galio.
Yep. Meanwhile, they do finish off the Rift Herald on the top side. The Revenge of Aka there, though, Spellbook comes in nice and handy. He's able to teleport over there with the extra move speed. That's what we were just mentioning in the early stages of the game for Galio, being able to get those taunts off. And does punish Power of Evil, get the kill on him before the flash comes back, like they were looking for, and allows them to go 1-for-1 in objectives instead of just giving up the Rift Herald for free.
Altec does mark Turtle there, but it's not going to press on. It's looking for Aka, but it's a little too far away with the rank 1 ulti to maybe make something happen. And of course, Ezreal is so tricky to pin down. That does split the Drakes though, so the Infernal goes to Immortals, which means Mountain Soul is the soul of this game.
Yep, and with the double tier stacking on FlyQuest, they want both Wild Turtle and Power of Evil to continue spamming their spells, be able to stack those up to get those transformations for their next big power spikes. So meanwhile, a little bit more farming there as Santorin's trying to get some River Vision as well.
Yep, in general, I think looking at these comps, this game doesn't need to go at super fast for either side. FlyQuest certainly with the double tier, as you mentioned. Happy to scale it up, but we already talked about how, you know, there is an enchanter here for Potluck and Altec. Aka here more to enable these team fights, but of course will build up damage as well. Certainly I think the mid game is where more of this will be decided, especially if one side can start stacking up the Drakes a bit faster. So we are maybe in for a slight lull, but teams have been pretty active about at least marking enemy champions and taking camps away.
Yeah, it's so interesting too, because we saw FlyQuest yesterday and they tried to match the aggression of Cloud9, and that is knowing your opponents and knowing that you cannot back down and give up free plays for Cloud9. But now versus this Immortals roster with all the changes, they're definitely a bit more relaxed in their game plan, it feels like, and a bit more relaxed in their play. Not feeling as forced and a little bit more at home.
Yep, again, just playing comfort here. Turtle does get the wave pushing in towards Altec. Potluck is building up a decent little lead in CS there in the jungle, as Soaz and Solo continue to do battle back and forth, but it's really mostly been the jungler coming up there every now and then that's been the bigger problem. Ignar, though, back on the roam. Just the gate here with Potluck behind him, but level 9 Graves coming in hot. Smoke screen down, normal ulti is going to grab Ignar, but he dashes away to safety. Relative safety as the Galio ult is going to charge in. Santorin looking to try and finish off gate, but Aka will defend his teammates as Ignar once again going to tag Potluck, but not going to look for the re-engage.
Yeah, nice little invade there from FlyQuest. They get the Galio ultimate down, and they're actually cutting off the reinforcements from Immortals, allowing a Rift Herald spawn for Santorin, cashing in on some turret plates.
Yep, here we also going to tag Aka there. Power does not get finished off though, and it's Solo and Soaz perhaps says, never mind. Soaz just posts up here and runs away.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to solo kill Karma as set. Even if he did have like phase rush for better chase down, Solo's actually running the fleet footwork. And you just got a little bit of the burst speed on the first one. He's making use of the extra healing that you get with there. But man, yeah, so that's a decent amount with that champion. Karma's so good at just baiting you into thinking that you have decent kill pressure, utilizing the root as well as the shield really effectively here.
Yeah, I feel like Karma versus melees is always like a you know, keep them on the leash.
Frustrate them.
Yeah, never exactly. Beat them with impatience. As Gate, Potluck, and Altec in a little 3v2. Excuse me, here in the bottom lane. But again, these are two pretty tricky champions to try and pin down. Turtle playing appropriately back. I think maybe sensing that something is on the horizon, even just in the 2v2. And with a minute 10 up until that next Drake, it will be the first of these Mountain Drakes. IMT at least trying to get some vision in this area as Power of Evil is going to walk away from the incoming roam.
Yeah, he's doing a good job hovering away because they know there's so much extra presence here for Immortals through the Dragon Pit, clearing out all their wards. And on that spawn, Power of Evil will be the richest player in the entire game with the Cassiopeia, because look at his farm. He's been actually farming up the Storm, and he just did transform his Seraphs. So in addition to the most gold in the game, has the power spike for his item transformation, and might be well equipped to actually give FlyQuest the start on this dragon that's about to spawn.
Does have 2k to spend right now, but we'll see if they do have time to go back, because it doesn't look like it based on this timer. Also, Tower's getting assaulted here as IMT have just basically pulled everyone into this bottom lane with the exception of Solo, who still has his teleport ready. So first tower goal does go over to Altex's Kai'Sa. Santorin's trying to pick something off here in mid lane as FlyQuest do want this, but Soaz flashes in. Gonna try and take down the Kindred, but the latch does not complete. Miasma there from Power Beaver to zone them away as the rest of IMT, they just want one kill, Kobe. Is that too much to ask?
Apparently it is.
Ooh!
Soaz trying to get another route. Phase Rush allows Cassiopeia to just walk out the extra range there.
Your favorite keystone, Kobe.
Yep. They're still looking, but...
good hook. Nope, never mind. Again, every champion is just so hard to pin down as Ignar is able to dash away to safety. FlyQuest really keeping IMT at bay, delaying this Drake here. Peewee again still hasn't shot, but Solo is now able to walk down after going back to base. He's finished the Blade of the Ruin King, and it just feels like a little too much post-pin exchange that FlyQuest will actually be the first to start this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, you could tell Immortals really wanted that pick. Big Karma plays, trying to flash in and lock him down. But if you're not able to get the pick before the dragon, then yeah, FlyQuest, good job slipping in to pick that one up for themselves and add it to the Cloud Dragon. Potluck doesn't let it go unanswered though, even though they do have to recall, even though they lost a decent amount of those cooldowns in their attempts at picking off a FlyQuest member. They still can get something for their troubles with the second Rift Rail here, which does admittedly have less value with turret plates for you to cash in on, but still gives you a good addition to pushing. Good chunk onto one of those turrets to try and open up the map for yourselves and try and open up some area to make use of the Galio ultimates and the long distance that you can actually cover.
Yeah, map's starting to break open a little more now after that first tower in bot lane went to Altex. Actually, 2 now being taken by FlyQuest in both of the side lanes. Soaz is continuing to frustrate Solo here. He's getting some work done, but again, set with passive, and the Blade of the Ruin King is probably going to be fine. Santorin there maybe has got FLICKR as Ignar dashes back out to his jungler. And Power of Evil again, we talked about how much gold he hadn't spent before that Drake fight. He's now spent it. He's been very close to almost a full Leandry's, excuse me, being completed with the Haunting Guys and the Blasting one.
You almost make the cardinal sin there. Using Leandry's
very different items.
Honestly though, yeah, the bonuses of it on Cassiopeia are really big because Cassiopeia can make great use of her range and can apply it to so many people, apply that extra burn. See if Solo actually gets this one.
He's close. I think he's got a few more punches. So as though he's still healing up. Again,
Minion block!
Flashing forward, last punch. That's it. Solo able to take him down.
And the cheers go up around the world for all the melee players.
He's out.
Getting frustrated. Is that the most classic Soaz or what? Ever since ever since the Fnatic days, it's like, oh my goodness, Soaz, how does he get away from all these things? But it's actually Solo who gets the kill on the Soaz and then pulls a Soaz against his team in escaping with the teleport from the bush.
Taunt incoming, no Acre can't find the angle. Turtle and Ignar though do a lot of damage to the outer tower, but Solo starting to show that, I have this presence in the sideline. Soaz cannot just recklessly harass me and look to get away with it again. Although we'll see when round 3, 4 comes up in I'm sure a few moments. But now it is these teams trying to knock down the mid outer tower.
Don't push me, bro. Soaz pushed him to the edge, and Solo finally was able to make it happen with some help from the minions. Like how he was able to use the slow to, get Soaz into a position where he can actually pin him with the minions, get the stun, then finishes it off with his flash advantage there. In the end, though, as much as we're like, yeah, some action, boom, boom, you got a kill. It's not going to move the needle that much on the actual game plan here. Still going to be par for the course here for both teams. Still trying to focus on the original. But transformations have started to come in for FlyQuest, and they are starting to make it count in map territory. Both of the side outer turrets are down, and mid turret is looking flimsy.
Yeah, certainly doesn't seem like it's too many more total empowered autos from going down, as IMT have to clear all the vision that FlyQuest were putting in their blue side of the jungle. But we got Drake spawning in a minute 25. Who would be the third for FlyQuest if they can grab it? As yeah, we're back here again. Now Soas is playing a little bit more back.
And the sad thing about it for Immortals and for Soas is that like this isn't actually the commitment to like support karma or anything. That's the Luden's karma, which is committing a bit more to the burst damage to the poke, and isn't going to provide as much team utility when you're like, oh yeah, but at least it's the karma that will provide Hardened Sensor and the shields buffs and stuff there. You know, yeah, the shields do scale with the AP and there's some there, but not going to be as helpful as the other build. Ignar on the Rakan, one of his favorite things here, trying to get deep vision, trying to attack the enemy wards, knowing he's got the extra mobility and safety there. But Aka does a good job of actually forcing him off those control wards, not allowing them to clear them just yet.
Yeah, Arthur also TP'd into mid lane, and the Herald has been channeled as well, so kind of syncing all up with his potential Drake take as Ignar getting low. Potluck with the ulti, but will miss just barely. Ignar juking right there to avoid the incoming damage. Herald, though, is going to charge in, and FlyQuest feeling a little bit damaged for this potential dragon fight up in 10 seconds. So IMT will be first to get vision of this area. The Soul's trying to re-clear, gets hooked though, and now Power Reveal going to have to come in and save his teammate, but the Miasma is down. The dunk is there from the set, and Gate low does get slain by PoE, and now they're back in it again. What a great ult there from the Cassio as Power of Evil grabs the double kill, and now Altec going to be moving in. The ult there from Aka, but not enough there as they're continuing to go here. I think they can get them all. Wild Turtle dives in, gets one. Potluck is down. Altec low on the backlines as Aka is running away from the Cassio, but cannot escape. And now Wild Turtle, one more left to go. Going to be chasing down Altec. See you later. There's the double kill, and that's the ace for FlyQuest.
Oh, we had a bit of a Bud Light spoiler right there. There it is. Bud Light ace does go in for FlyQuest. You're right. They can get them all. Phase 3 solo face checks and FlyQuest clean them up. After that, you know, I mean, that's Power Reveal flashing on the Cassiopeia. That's going to mean it's going to be an easy rotation up to the Baron. Teleports come out for, you know, some possible poke. Maybe there's a miracle Q steal from Soaz. He can work his way behind the Baron. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to get burned down here. Soaz going to look for the angle, but it does not exist, and Baron does indeed go over. FlyQuest, who have launched themselves up to, what, 7,000 gold ahead? See how they do with the Red Bull Baron power play. Soaz at least gets a trade back here. He's going to be able to finish off this mid outer tower.
All right, let's take another look at that Bud Light ace. Started, as you mentioned, with Solo walking around on the set. Loves to be initiated on. He knows he's got the confidence of Power Vivo, who's this fed Cassio behind him, who just acquired the blue buff as well. So he takes the fight, the miasma down, and Solo's able to ult Gate back into the rest of his team and hits the Haymaker even with Gate flashing to find the first kill, allowing them to flash forward. And then once you get those offensive flashes from the carries of FlyQuest, they can chase him down. Aka actually get himself into a bad spot there in the Tribe Rush, and the rest of Immortals kind of getting baited to stick around instead of running straight back for the hills for their fountain. Wild Turtle and Ignar finish up the chase as he was able to arcane shift right over the wall and finish him off. So FlyQuest just wrap up so much there. That is so many objectives with the Baron plus the Dragon on the back of an entire ace. That you just have this giant cliff now for Immortals.
Yeah, and IMT, they're going to try and get sneaky here, but they do get warded out, so that's 4 people spotted in that brush, and of course they can see Soaz in the top side, so everyone accounted for here as they've still got a minute 30 to push with this buff. Ignar, never unafraid to look for an engage, is going to have a look at Potluck here, but not going to get too aggressive, just again keeping track of champions, marking them, as you mentioned earlier, as Santorin and Power of Evil do finish off this bottom lane tier 2 pretty easily.
Yeah, they've got Baron for another 2 extra minion waves here, and they've got all 3 waves pushing, so making very good efficient use of the Baron buff. Solo now under attack.
Yep, gets out there with help of Altec, has to flash out of the way and does do so, so he's out of there. But the rest of the team able to continue the siege. Ignar maybe fancying a dive here alongside Wild Turtle, but I think more than anything just doing, you know, the Ignar thing, which is to posture aggressively and threaten the engage. It can't be a good engage player, Kobe, if you're not at least making sure you're staying in range.
Yeah, and some sleight of hand too. If you get in range, you start your demolished procs ticking while threatening those engages, looking like, oh, I'm looking for an engage. And then he casually can get his demolished proc off to help out a little bit with the turret taking. It's some of those little small things do end up mattering. Maybe not so big in this game because FlyQuest is so far ahead, with the Baron taken, laying waste to the Immortals structure.
So important though. Kind of amazing how much work that one little rune does. But certainly the players that are most efficient with it are, of course, the most successful. Potluck getting harassed over the wall now by this Kindred as FlyQuest taking kind of everything at this point. They've busted open the bottom lane inhibitor. It's now exposed and under attack. Looks like Turtle's also going to go back, but he's got TP if he wants to rejoin the party, which unsurprisingly he does. Solo is going to smash down that turret in mid. Ignar finishes off the inhib in the bottom lane, and IMT kind of have to pick their chance to fight here, but they're not going to like it whenever they do choose. Ignar taking some bullets here from Potluck, but FlyQuest, not taking the bait, not going too aggressive, just cleaning up the 2 inhibs. Go spend your absolute mountain of gold you've just accrued off that Baron power play, and then, take 1 or 2 more steps and the game should be yours.
Yeah, like we were talking about, a bit of a contrast here with this game. So much more relaxing for FlyQuest than some of the stuff that went on yesterday with Cloud9. So much action, so much pressure being taken to them. And the new Immortals roster are in a very difficult scenario. So far down in gold and face checking.
Yeah, face checking Turtle and Solo and Ignar. It's the triple. The absolute triad there of FlyQuest just looking to really overtake this fight, but IMT here, they've outnumbered them. Solo maybe a little bit too far forward. Pops the W for the bit of extra shield, but he is going to fall, but Power of Evil, can he play cleanup in time? Gate is low, pops the Seraph there for PoE as Turtle's able to take down Altec. And somehow the rest of FlyQuest walk away with that. Oh no, Aker gonna maybe say no to that potential play. Low there as the grab is good, but Santorin with an absolutely massive ultimate to save the Cassio. And Power of Evil is still alive. It's absolute mayhem in the backline. Santorin is diving so as Ignar low, but not out. PoE finally felt as Aker finds the double as the Proto Belt is going to get him the second as Turtle cleans him up on the other side. And so as the only member of Immortals currently left alive, and it's not looking too hot for him either.
Yeah, that is a bit of a scrappy one. Wild Turtle's not going to let him get away. Yep. The classic flash over the wall.
Another
into the
Turtle
base.
ace finisher. Oh, not yet. He's been delayed. Missed his stop. Ulti, yeah, not going to get it. So it's like, all right, not this time, Turtle.
Another successful karma bait. Honestly, though, that was FlyQuest. If you go back and look, it's a 3v5. They even take the 3v5. They're like, all right, they're face checking us. We can do this. The teleport coming in from Immortals means that Immortals have full 5 members with reinforcements there for almost 15 seconds of a 3v5 fight with those 3 members of FlyQuest that start that play. Then once Power of Evil gets there and the rest of the FlyQuest members join, they can actually clean up those kills. But that was definitely messy because of the disadvantage that FlyQuest actually started that off with. Maybe not fully keeping track of the teleport and expecting all 5 members there, or maybe a bit of hubris.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly started it with the right players. You talked about how Power of Evil and Ignar are kind of this fantastic duo on FlyQuest. It feels like Solo's kind of the missing piece, the one extra bit of engage, the one, bit of consistency and confidence maybe that the team needed. That I feel like whenever something happens with FlyQuest, it's like Ignar setting up with Solo behind him, and then PoE just slam dunks the ball into the net and, takes over with whatever farm control mate he happens to have. Like, as far as, the Trinity Force of FlyQuest goes, 3 very powerful players that have looked extremely well coordinated, and that, of course, isn't to speak about how good Santorin's been and how consistent Turtle has been recently as well. So FlyQuest will grab the Baron, they'll barrel up that gold lead to well over 10k, and again, with 2 inhibitors down, with Baron up for the full 3 minutes, it's going to be quite the storm for IMT to weather.
Yep, Baron number 2 here for FlyQuest should mean the end of the base. Coming through with only 1 lane left to siege. All right, hard mode now. Play from Immortals side. What can they get done? Teleport comes back from Altec. Maybe they can, open up some sort of sneaky taunt over the wall or something. Turtle gets a little
It's certainly tough to get this Galio in, and I think that's what IMT have kind of struggled to do with this pick in particular. They don't have an obvious way unless Altec wants to charge in there, which is probably not the best candidate for enabling your Galio in at least a straight up 5v5. And of course, the gold lead's going to make it tricky anyway, but certainly if there is an angle IMT can find, they'll need to find it soon.
I say Gates just got to YOLO it. He ult and hook on in there on Nautilus and then get the Galio ult and hope you get that kill.
Yeah, I've definitely done worse plans than solo queue, so I'm kind of down. Gate though under attack, unfortunately for him. Does pop the stone plate, gets the ulti down, but bunch of solo there as FlyQuest just walking all over what is soon to be the ruins of Immortals' base. Next turret on the right looking awfully unhealthy, and Santorin agrees. We'll go ahead and smack that down with a little bit of extra help. Now just one to defend here as Gate goes in, but Solo always looking to make a big one here. Gonna pull two back into each other. Ignos in the back line is always making it happen, and FlyQuest are gonna absolutely just go off in this team fight here. Aker getting low, he's gonna be aced once again as the Nexus is finished off, and FlyQuest will end their week with a win.
And on brand there, a bunch of hearts with well played. The FlyQuest members going up at the end. Definitely good winners there.
I like it. And again, a more relaxing, early to mid game, let's say, but I think FlyQuest still demonstrating that one of the reasons they're so good is that as a unit, they are extremely cohesive and extremely good at just confidently starting fights. Like, yes, their game against Seedang was very different and was always going to be challenging, but I think in their best moments, they do look similarly strong. Not as strong as Cloud9, because no one does right now, but they have moments of like, wow, this is just such a good team fighting team.
Yeah, I do like also that their focus remains kind of around Power of Evil, and his consistency in being such a big carry for them. When you see him on Cassiopeia, you're like, I too feel a little bit relaxed, and I have confidence for them as they're he's able to scale up, stack up his tier, and once him and Turtle both get their transformations, able to take some of those fights.
All right, we're stepping away, but after the break, we've got an interview with a victorious jungler. Hear from Santorin after this.
Brightness is increasing. There it is. Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Cars like this don't come around often. The redesigned Type R, the most powerful Civic ever, from Honda.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS. I am happy to be standing on by for our Verizon post-game interview with Santorin after that victory for FlyQuest. First of all, how you doing? It's my first time seeing you kind of face-to-face virtually since this split has started.
I'm doing good. I mean, obviously losing to C9 kind of sucked, but we come back with a pretty good victory today, so I'm happy overall. Good to be back.
Well, and you mentioned the C9 game as well, and I think one consistent factor between that game and the one today is this aggression we're seeing out of FlyQuest, whether it be some early ganks or some flashes happening mid. Is this an intentional move towards aggressive play for you and the rest of your team?
I feel like we're more aggressive this split for sure. I feel like we're getting better synergy as a team, so I feel like now we feel better about taking these kind of early skirmishes, and that's why we are becoming a better team. It just feels great because I think all of us do want to fight. Like we're all like people that do want to fight. And I feel like last split we're kind of looking too much to scale, and like now we really want to get into it in the early game.
And I know during the playoffs of last split, when Solo became an addition to the team, many of you remarked on the fact that at that point you were working on style. So was he an influence at all, mentioning the fact that a lot of you do like to scrap on this roster?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think Solo has like really good communication, and he's really quick at reacting with TP plays, stuff like that. So I feel like he's definitely like bringing a lot of good factors to like why we're doing even better now.
It was a piece of FlyQuest content, the comeback story, in which you stated that you would have felt bad if you beat Cloud9 during that last match of the finals because of how hard they worked throughout the split. Now that they've got their banner out of the way, that's done. Do you feel any differently when trying to take them down?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just last split, they're really, really dominant. I still think they're a really, really strong team, but I do feel like more teams are going to step up this split, and I feel like they're going to be more contested, and it's going to be a more competitive split. So I wouldn't feel bad if we take them down this time around.
All right, so you mentioned everyone's going to be stepping up. So my last thing to you, on behalf of FlyQuest, how much do you feel you are all ready to step up and try and contest that title?
Oh, for sure we're going to contest. I'm really looking forward to especially playoffs. Honestly, I feel like we're already kind of locked in because I feel like we're a really good team, and we're definitely going to prove some people wrong.
And that's the kind of attitude I like to hear from all the players in the LCS. Thank you so much, Santorin, for speaking to me for our Verizon post-game interview. Verizon being the official 5G network of the LCS. But when we return, we will have our State Farm analyst desk to break down this action further. So, see you then.
Yeah.
As Solo going to walk out of there, or maybe not. Soa's going to keep chasing, gets the root. Potluck back in there. They've just made it work. The knockup there again. Nicely started there by PoE. Aka is going to go down to the Casio. And now the stun in the front side of the ulti is out from PoE. That's going to be a second kill over as the double kill.
See if Solo actually gets
Solo.
this one. Oh,
He's close. I think he's got a few more punches. So as though he's still healing up. Again,
Minion block,
flashing forward, last punch. Solo always looking to make a big one here. Going to pull two back into each other. Ignos in the backline is always making it happen, and FlyQuest are going to absolutely just go off in this team fight here.
I'm Randy Diaz, mayor of Seltzer, Pennsylvania. If you love Bud Light like me, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's a hard seltzer from Bud Light. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. If you don't love Bud Light, you'll love Bud Light Seltzer. It's not Bud Light, it's hard seltzer. It comes in 4 flavors and tastes great. Bud Light Seltzer. It's unquestionably good. Questions? Call us now.